This is not a preview. I'm actually driving the new Ford Bronco. Not the Bronco Sport, the real Bronco. Let's get to it. It's hard to overstate the importance of this vehicle. Equal parts pop culture symbol, Swiss Army knife, and party crasher to Jeep Wrangler's territory. The all-new Ford Bronco is the current it vehicle, and it's not even really out yet. Once they get into the wild, people should understand the huge difference between the Bronco Sport crossover and truck-based Bronco 2 and 4-door. Choose between hard and soft tops, 2 engines, 2 transmissions, and for the first time, door count. Yeah, there's a 4-door now. Bronco just might be the most overhyped vehicle of the last 20 years, maybe ever, and since it's been delayed, there's a lot of pent-up interest in this. And a kind of a bonus, it rides on the same platform as the upcoming Ford Ranger, so there's a little bit of a preview. I'm at a press launch outside of Austin, Texas, where I was able to drive it on-road for a few hours and off-road for the same amount of time, settle in for a good amount of info. I'll try to be efficient. To begin, some development fun facts. Here's the first rough model used to figure out dimensions and features as Ford's engineers watched people at recreational areas use their trucks. They found a petite woman having issues lashing a canoe to the roof. These solve the issue of ropes rubbing paint off the hood when tied to bumpers and gives short drivers sight points to see the corners of the truck. Another Wrangler owner had no garage to store the doors. These frameless units fit in the trunk. Covers have pictograms for the proper panel. Scanning the QR code brings up instructions on how to remove and replace them.
All right, let's move on to durability. So one thing we know is this is a Ford truck. And what do we know about Ford trucks? They're built Ford tough. That's right. But Bronco is a little different. Bronco's going off-roading, right? So we had to add some more durability events to it. So what we did is we took the product out to the Mojave Desert. We ran it on some of the same trails that they do the King of the Hammers race on with fully modified race vehicles. And my engineers broke parts. So once I got the bill, we redesigned them and put them back in, reran it all, and basically we have even a more durable truck than the normal Ford truck durability. Once we got all that work done, they then took that truck, which is a production stock vehicle just with safety equipment on it, and they entered it. It's a Badlands with 33-inch tires. They entered it in the Nora 1000 Baja race. The only downtime they had on the course with this was 2 flat tires the entire race. Took a third.
This high-strength steel chassis is fully boxed with 7 cross members. Ford claims class-leading suspension travel. There are 2 gas engines, a 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 with 330 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque, and a 2.3-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder at 300 horses and 325 pound-feet of torque. Those figures are on premium fuel. There's a 7-speed manual, but only with the 4-cylinder, or this 10-speed automatic, which can be shifted manually. Sorry, no paddle shifters. The base 4-wheel drive setup gets a 2-speed electronic shift-on-the-fly transfer case. Move to the advanced system, and there's a 2-speed electromechanical transfer case with auto mode. In back, there's a Dana 44 Avantec solid axle and a Dana Avantec independent front differential. Spicer Performatrack electronic locking diffs, front and rear, are available, and there are GOAT modes that are different depending on model. GOAT stands for Go Over Any Type of Terrain. Controls to lock the front and rear axles are weatherproof. There are 14 Jeep Wrangler models. Bronco stops at 7 for now, and that's including the sold-out first edition. I spent nearly all of my time in 4-cylinder 2-door models. For on-road, it was in Outer Banks with the 4-cylinder, weighing in at 4,400 pounds and a cost of $48,450 with $8,000 worth of options. Ford says it's for customers preferring style and technology on and off-road, so think Wrangler Sahara. All right, on-road first. Let's see how quick this is. I'd say 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds.
While I didn't drive the V6, the 4 seems fine for most owners. And while the latest JL Wrangler got a big boost in on-road dynamics, I'm giving the edge to Bronco.
Bronco is comfortable and it tracks pretty well when driving on the highway. Not an awful lot of road noise coming off the tires, but wind noise, that you're definitely going to hear. At 70 miles an hour, it's just coming through because this is as aerodynamic as a house. It's a square.
The wheelbase of the 4-door is nearly 16 inches longer. Physics suggest it's the better road tripper.
You might have noticed that there's a built-in GoPro mount here, and I'm not using it because, well, I wanted to show it to you.
The EPA rates fuel economy of this model at an average of 21 miles per gallon on regular grade gas. Driving it hard because I was very late for dinner, I saw 16.
Okay, that is not great fuel economy, but I think owners go in knowing that. And yeah, I asked the engineers if there's going to be a hybrid in the future, and they said, of course, we don't comment on future product. They always say that.
This road is moderately curvy. Now, don't have lofty expectations, but considering Bronco's off-road priorities, it's not bad. Clearly more pleasant to pilot than the last Toyota 4Runner I drove.
As far as handling goes, you gotta remember Bronco is based on a truck architecture, so while it handles fine for a truck, if you push it really hard into tight corners, there's going to be a lot of understeer.
Blind spot warning is optional, but at least visibility is good.
In Eco Drive mode, you're not going to hear the engine note as much. I've got it in Sport. Hope you can hear that. A little extra growl. It sounds great.
Standard active electronic safety tech includes automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection and auto high beams. Stuff like lane keeping assist and adaptive cruise control is optional. Had it in my tester and it worked well. I've been a critic of Ford interiors lately. The Outer Banks model I drove with leather seating is at least an improvement over the Bronco Sport I was in. Wrangler gets the style points in cabin quality. Among the many removable parts are grab handles. As equipped with the Luxe package, this is about as swanky as Bronco gets, with manual leather seats that are heated, as is the wheel. Door releases feel like solid equipment, and there's the usual amount of storage areas, plus the option for wireless charging. Bumped up from the 8-incher, this 12-inch touchscreen runs the pretty good Sync 4 system. Yes, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are standard, and the Bang & Olufsen sound system is a solid performer. Some Bronco models are available with marine-grade vinyl seating, if you leave the tops off in the rain. Some models get topographical trail maps with over 1,000 curated routes. Some Broncos ditch the carpet for rubberized floors and drain plugs for hosing out mud. Speaking of, let's go off-roading.
I picked right. This is a base Bronco with the Sasquatch package, which is what a lot of off-roaders are going to choose. It doesn't have sway bar disconnect though.
Available on all trims, Sasquatch adds 35-inch tires, 17-inch beadlock capable alloys, electronic locking front and rear axle, high clearance suspension, and fender flares.
Okay, this is a combination of mud and rocks. Pretty nasty stuff. I really wish you could see how steep this is because the camera never shows it. I'm looking straight down.
I'm trying to offer you the best look at what Bronco can do. I just didn't have any opportunity to get out and shoot exterior stuff.
All right, I wish I could be outside shooting this, but I'm gonna give you some iPhone footage here about what this guy is doing. That's a pretty steep grade. It's really muddy. It's hard to get traction here. You got it? You got it? Yeah!
The 7-speed manual gets a crawler gear, never got around to driving one. There are up to 6 protective plates underneath. Base models have 8.3 inches of ground clearance. The Sasquatch package's 35-inch tires raise that to 11.5.
Right through that crack? That was awesome. That was very cool. Suspension travel is nearly 8 inches up front, close to 10 in back, though Badlands models are upped by around 3/4 of an inch front and back. The structure is as solid as the rock we're traveling over. This is a very cool facility. If you buy a Bronco and come to an off-roadeo, and you really should because it's free, you'll have a great time. You'll learn a lot. There's some great instructors here. Austin just had a huge rainstorm. Bronco can ford up to 33.5 inches of water. Of course, Bronco had to be capable, but it's really obvious that Ford took this very, very seriously, not just marketing hype. Is Bronco better than Wrangler off-road? I won't be answering that definitively today. Both are incredibly capable. It comes down to driver talent and how the truck has been kitted out. I literally cannot see. I'm looking straight up into the sky. This is incredibly steep. This is not something you would want to try in a Honda Pilot. Well, call me if you do, all right? I would like to shoot it. I'm doing separate videos on some of the off-road tech, but here's a quick look at Trail Turn Assist.
Trail Turn Assist is very new. Bronco's the only manufacturer that has that in their vehicle now. You will hear some new noises. They're normal noises with Trail Turn Assist. Turn the wheel over. You kind of feel us jerking a little bit.
Yeah.
What's happening is, so that tire down there was actually locking up and turned into a skidder.
Trail control is like a low-speed cruise control.
I'm gonna set at 3.5 miles an hour right now. Once I let my foot off of the brake, the Bronco will accelerate to 3.5 miles an hour and maintain that speed for us. This is a pretty good driving mode, just like we'd use cruise control on highway. If we got, maybe a long distance that we're driving off-road that we don't need to be going faster than 20 miles an hour, trail control can hold us at a lower speed.
So right now I'm using one pedal drive, which is exactly what you might think it is. If I have the throttle depressed, I go. If I take my foot off, it stops. I don't have to use the brake pedal. Kind of nice. Let's get back to practical everyday stuff like the back seat. The 4-door is the way to go if you have any aspirations for a social life. Seat backs are available with this awesome setup, a Wi-Fi hotspot is available, and there's power for charging phones and computers. The things that you're trying to get away from in the wilderness. Here's why you don't want the 2-door. First, it's not overly easy to get into. Could be a challenge for a dog. There are belts for 2, and once in, your legs will not be happy. Doesn't matter how small of an adult you might be. On the plus side, headroom is good. I have very little time with this vehicle, so no trips to Costco. I haven't even been to my hotel room, so here's my luggage. That's what it looks like. That's how much room there is. Did I mention it's 95 degrees and humid? Oof. For reference, my suitcase is standard carry-on size. The camera bag is just small enough so I can talk my way onto a plane with both. I do get the stink eye occasionally. Tie-downs could be used as recovery points, it seems. Nice Easter egg, by the way. There are some storage solutions in back, so while the 2-door's cargo space at 22.4 cubic feet is not all that large, it is useful, and adjusting the rear cushions forward will get you this kind of load floor. It's not perfectly flat, but it opens it up to 52.3 cubic feet of storage, and chances are the back seat won't get used all that much. And if you're wondering, you do have to close the window first. For comparison, the 4-door's boot is much more useful, up around 50% at 35.6 cubic feet. Again, this is the practical choice. While I was running around like a caffeinated squirrel to cover everything that I could, I didn't get a soft top demo, but the hardtop roof panels are pretty simple to remove.
One lever that pulls down, 3/4 turns. Comes off just like so.
Obviously, the doors can be taken off, and there's a grab handle below to help with that. Seems to me Jeep has the edge on this process. Here are the electrical connectors.
There's a cool feature back here for the electrical harness, and the washer solvent fluid. It's got a couple quick disconnects on it, and there's a place to store them when you take your top off.
Find yourself on a tight trail? The fenders can be removed without the use of tools, and this isn't a cutaway vehicle. The quarter panels are removable using tools. Same with the grille. It takes about 5 minutes to do that, and Ford provides the kit to do all this. If you want the wind in your hair and bugs in your teeth, know that Bronco's windshield is fixed. All right, I've covered a lot of ground. With limited time in Bronco, here's my initial wrap-up. Green lights. It's the real deal for off-roading, with useful tech to make anyone a better boulder hopper. The Sasquatch package is available on all trims, so enthusiasts can get capability for a lower price point. Ford nailed the style and vibe of the original Bronco without resorting to cheesy retro cues. It's updated for modern times, and there's a four-door. It's stuffed with practical features like doors that store in the trunk, tie-downs that double as eyesights, plus spots to mount cameras and phones. Yellow lights? Impressively comfortable and drivable for a capable four-wheeler. It's a truck and not as refined on-road as, say, an Explorer. The four-door can be pressed into family duty, but it's high for kids and dogs to get into. The two-door is for singles and couples. It gets a 7-speed manual transmission, but only with the turbocharged 4-cylinder. Red lights. Fuel economy. As expected, it's pretty low, and Ford is not talking about any kind of electrification yet, hybrid or full EV. Would love to see Ford throw more money at the interior. Materials are just so-so. Haven't ordered one already? Good luck finding one, and even if you do, I can't even imagine the dealer price adjustment. It's impressive how Ford has entered the true off-roader fight swinging hard. Sure, there's going to be endless talk about the Wrangler-Bronco rivalry, but the real winner is all of us. Competition is a mighty good thing. Jeep has already responded to some of Bronco's features, and Wrangler is available with a plug-in hybrid powertrain. Choices are good. Once the dust settles, there's going to be a lot of happy people on the trails. I'll point out that Ford is establishing Bronco as a brand, and there will be standalone showrooms in some cities. The only blue oval I could find is here. You do know that Mustang doesn't even have one, right? And if the next generation Ranger pickup has the same driving dynamics as Bronco, it should help to sell a bunch more of them. There you go. That is your first real look at the all-new Ford Bronco, not Bronco Sport. As far as a fun fact, I don't know, there's not going to be an OJ edition. I don't have time. I've got to get this car back. I'm already an hour late, okay? But remember, subscribe every Tuesday, a great car review video. Thanks for watching. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.